Not only kings are buried in the pyramids of Meroe. After the 3rd century BC, a series of strong queens occupied the throne and may have been co-regents. One of the most powerful ruled near the time of Christ, just before the temple of Dan Gale was probably constructed.
The beloved monarch of Meroe, Queen Amanikasheto, upon her throne she sat, pondering her next move. Yet again a foreign foe had taken her neighbor's land to the north, down the Nile, the bravest of them yet. These northern men attempt to impose on the sovereignty of her people living down the Nile, Egypt, as it is called by them. Excessive taxation and mistreatment of her people in the upper part of that realm. She cannot have this. Finally, she decides to act. A swift victory was made that day. Plentiful was the war booty of old Kemet, with her enemies' hands bound behind them, and a bronze statue of Augustus lying below her conquering palm.
Amanikasheto is a really powerful Nubian queen. She's carrying bows and arrows. These are traditionally the accoutrements of a man. She's got prisoners tied up. There's a good possibility that she actually fought off the Romans.
In 23 BC, Roman soldiers attacked the Nubian kingdom. According to their accounts, the Nubian resistance was led by a valiant woman, blind in one eye, who scholars believe may be Amanikasheto. The queen successfully stopped the Romans from overtaking her kingdom, and even brokered a favorable peace treaty.
She made her way back to Meroe with vengeful plight. The head must go under the temple as we walk about it day and night. This she exclaimed as she embodied the spirit of her ancestors, the warrior queens that came before her, known to the world as Kandakes. The Greeks knew them as Candaces.
When we study history and great people who contributed to our world, our women warriors and rulers are often overlooked. From the 3rd century BCE to the 2nd century CE, the empire of Kush was ruled by a line of independent female rulers called the Candaces, or in their traditional language of Kush, Kandake, Amanishakheto, Nawidma, and Malekwebar were 4 queens well known as Candaces. Different from their Egyptian counterparts, the Candaces had absolute rule instead of the power coming from their husbands. During the period known as the Meroitic period, Kush thrived, and it was often thought of as a nation never ruled by a male. The word Kandake means queen mother, so the title was not taken lightly. If a woman was a Candace, she was able to influence the line of succession and consolidate her power. The Candace often played a role in the coronation of a new king. The Candaces are well known for refusing Alexander's entry into Kush and deterring him on one of his military campaigns, causing him to overtake a weaker Egypt. The strength of the Candace rulers also appeared in history as they were able to thwart the Roman conquest of Kush. Using brilliant battle tactics, Amanikasheto attacked Petronius during Rome's punitive invasions of Napata. They waited until most of his troops were gone off to battle, then Amanikasheto attacked the army. When Petronius returned, he found his mighty army in a standoff with a nation they considered weaker. The standoff lasted until Augustus Caesar and the Amanikasheto were able to settle on signing a peace treaty. Over a period of 1,250 years, the kingdom of Kush was amazing and certainly one of the greatest, if not the greatest civilization of all its time.
A full Kushite year passed as she patiently awaited retaliation, for surely they would come. I beseech you, my queen, the men of the north marched near Napata. The northern historian Strabo recounts how they made easy work of the pure-skinned Kushites at Seleucus. Petronius, their leader, fortified his position en route to Napata. The oppression of the desert sun afflicted them, a condition unknown to them. An unsuitable, roadless country deemed unfit for superior operations wearied the mind of Petronius. Finding the endeavor hopeless, he decided upon a strategic withdrawal. A friendlier term to ease the ear of his superior. With haste, she planned her return. You see, Amanikasheto needed an alliance. From the south they came, many in number. The land of the bow was ready, and skirmishes descended on the garrisons of the Northmen. What shall be said this day, but that a final battle never occurred, due to the political acumen of the queen? An audience was drawn for Queen Amanirenas at the island of Samos. Ambassadors, holding in their hands a bundle of golden arrows, instructed with the full confidence of the queen, sent a message to their monarch. Queen Amanirenas sends you these arrows. If you want peace, they're a token of her friendship and warmth. If you want war, keep the arrows, for you're going to need them.
Though faint, traces of Amanishakheto's imposing figure can still be seen on the walls of her offering chapel.
She's a larger woman, so it shows how powerful she is. It's also part of the Meroitic impression of beauty. She's well-fed. She's wearing a lot of bracelets on her arms, rings on her fingers. She would have been covered in gold. She was a very lucky lady to have a lot of this jewelry.
Amanishaketo's royal cache first came to light in 1834, when an Italian explorer, Giuseppe Ferlini, traveled to the Sudan, eager, as he claimed, to make some useful contribution to history. In fact, he was really searching for gold. Ferlini hoped to make a fortune selling antiquities back in Europe. His greed led him to the pyramid fields of Meroe. According to his diary, Ferlini directed his workmen to dismantle Amanishakheto's tomb at nearly 100 feet high, one of the best preserved in the cemetery. While his men labored under the punishing rays of the desert sun, Ferlini took it easy in the shade. The excitement began when a faithful servant summoned him from the top of the pyramid.
I got up and raced over, my heart filled with hopes of some delightful adventure.
At the summit, Ferlini reported that his men had discovered a chamber hidden beneath the stones. From within emerged a bronze bowl filled with objects wrapped in cloths of linen. Ferlini had hit the jackpot.
As it became evening, I brought the discovered objects to my tent, and after all the servants had given over to sleep, I pulled out the precious objects and studied them with my soul filled with joy. I admired the gold, and on seeing the quantity of it, I realized it had to exceed greatly all that which I knew was spread through the museums of Europe.
Ferlini had discovered a dazzling hoard of jewels. Today, much of this cache is housed in Munich's Egyptian Museum. Gold bracelets covered with decorative bands of fused glass. Ornamental pendants bearing images of the gods. And dozens of heavy gold rings, some incised with the figure of Amun.
This is one of the greatest treasures ever found in Nubia. It gives us a very good idea of what the kings and the queens would have been wearing at the time.
Though Ferlini's raid did bring the incredible cache to light, a price was paid for the discovery. The explorer's ruthless quest for gold destroyed Amanishakheto's pyramid.
You already know the vibe. Peace to the community. Peace to the community. Salute to y'all. Salute to y'all. You know, we got to be doing this history. We got to go inside if we want to go higher. You know what I mean? If we want to determine our altitude, that's not our attitude that's going to determine that. We have to determine it with the research, with the inner understanding, so that we know exactly where we're going and why and how we're going there. So most definitely, man, I hope that getting into this Kandake, Queen Amanishakheto, getting into her, you know, and her conquest against Rome. You know, everybody had a conquest against Rome. You know, Rome was that power at that time running around. And, you know, so I look forward to getting in Queen Amenorhanes, most definitely getting into her as well, as far as Nubia, Kemet, all of those things go as well. As you know, this is one community. And just getting into us as a people, Africa, the diaspora. I'm going to be getting into a lot of Aboriginal history in Australia, a lot of different things that I know within my mind that I feel that you need to know, but also you, the leader, the viewers. A couple of you are going to be having podcasts here, so some of the great people are going to be coming here to watch you too. And I mean, so salute to that. Salute to you. Like I said, email me communityliving@gmail.com to be a part of shows, to suggest the show that you think would be good for the community or good for anybody to watch. And we go about creating that. If you want to suggest some shows or anything like that, same thing, communityliving@gmail.com. Remember to drop your like, share, subscribe, join. I'm working on a lot of private videos for the members right now. So I'm going to be uploading a few. So I'll let y'all know exactly when I got the private membership videos up and running, facts, man. But I got a couple of things that I got going already. And so I'm uploading videos right now. So this is what we're doing, man. We're in the third phase of community. We creating. Everything is available on this chat now. Super chats, everything now. Yeah. So I got 3 actual memberships that I'm going to be fulfilling. The first one is the man, woman. And then the second one is the king, queen. And then the third one is the god, goddess. Most definitely level, the god, goddess level, where I'll be, the people that subscribe to that monthly will be getting overlays, all those types of things, the same things that I was doing online. That's what I'll be doing for the people that subscribe and our monthly subscribers to my channel. Besides that, I'll be leaving up all my graphic art designs prices, just like I have on Fiverr. I'll be leaving all my graphic design prices just like how I have on Fiverr, because I be getting paid on and been getting paid on Fiverr. But I came here on YouTube and just showing people love. I see that a lot of love was not appreciated, but that doesn't mean that we still won't show love. But this is a business, you know what I'm saying? I'm in the music business, I'm in the entertainment business, acting business, and I'm in the business of doing what I'm doing. So let us all appreciate each other and appreciate each other's work. Most definitely, man. What did Queen Amanikasheto accomplish? Amanikasheto is best known for a collection of jewelry which was stolen from her pyramid in 1834. You know what I'm saying? And we know who that was stolen by, right? An Italian treasure hunter, right? Giuseppe Ferlini, who destroyed the pyramid in search of its burial goods. These pieces are now in the Egyptian Museum of Berlin, and they're in the Egyptian Museum in Munich, right? What made Amanikasheto historical? Queen Amanikasheto has been called the warrior queen of Nubia by some scholars due to her defeating the Roman army after Emperor Augustus sent his troops to conquer Kush. She was known to be extremely wealthy and held a significant amount of power. Okay? You know, these ancient pyramids that was happening, that were built in Meroitic, because you see that Ferlini went and destroyed actual Amenishakhetu's pyramid in search of the jewels and everything else, right? So the Meroitic pyramids, smaller than the Egyptian cousins, right, are considered Nubian pyramids with narrow bases and steep angles on the sides. Built between 2700 and 2300 years ago with decorative elements from the cultures of Pharaonic Egypt, Greece, and Rome. Okay, so when we seen that one of the pyramids were destroyed by Ferlini when he obtained the jewelry, And in these times, people were, like he said, he was trying to bring it back to Europe to hawk the jewelry and sell the jewelry and hoping to get rich and claim fame. You know what I mean? Just like a lot of Queen Amarina's jewelry. They thought that a lot of that jewelry was a hoax and was actual Egyptian fakes, right? But it wasn't Egyptian fakes. It's just that the Meroitic period and the Nubian period, it predates the Egyptian pyramids that we see. So when they talk about Egypt, they just sell you the Giza pyramids and all of that. They sell you that, really, the 3 big pyramids, the Sphinx, and all of that, which is all a part of it, right? But that's like the culmination of a history that was being built and being practiced and being mastered throughout time. You know what I mean? Because we know that the civilization sparked its birth at the foot of the Nile. You know what I'm saying? We know that the Nile starts in Ethiopia. Sorry, pardon me. It starts in Ethiopia with the Blue Nile, right? And then it runs down to the White Nile, right? So, many great rivers are the way and the reasons why they say great civilization sprouted. You know what I mean? You got animal life, you got great water sources, plant life, different things like that. You can maintain people. You know what I mean? So water source, as soon as they drop you in any jungle anywhere, the first thing you look for is a water source. You know what I mean? Once you got maintained the water source, you can figure out what you could do about food. But water is the main thing that you need to live. You know what I mean? You can go on 40-day fasts and still live. You know what I mean? But you cannot. You need water. Even though I've seen this guy said he doesn't drink water for a long time, but he still substitutes that with fruits and tomatoes and vegetables and gets all of his liquids, actual water, from fruits and vegetables. What was the purpose of the pyramids in Meroe, right? The Nubian pyramids were built over a period of a few hundred years, and they served as tombs for the kings and queens and wealthy citizens of Napata and Meroe. The first 3 sites are located around Napata in Lower Nubia, near the modern town of Karima. Okay, so this is good things to know. What is the oldest pyramid on Earth, though? The Pyramid of Djoser. The Pyramid of Djoser is actually the Step Pyramid. The Step Pyramid is the Pyramid of Djoser. 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 The Pyramid of Djoser, also spelled Zoser, is widely believed to be the oldest pyramid in the world, and it dates back to around 2630 BCE, while construction on the Great Pyramid of Giza began in 2560 BCE, roughly 7 years later. Okay. So you know that when I tell you again that everything started along the Nile, everything happened along the foot of the Nile, you know what I'm saying? You will start to understand that this is where they say the civilization was born, right? But when you look at the top of the map of Africa, you'll see that Egypt, or where you see the pyramids, like where the Great Pyramid and all these things are, you'll see that that's on the top of Africa, right? But that's not Upper Egypt. In those ancient days, that would be called Lower Egypt. The top of Africa would be called Lower Egypt. And towards the central part, in the middle, where Sudan and all of that is, that will be called Upper Egypt, because that is where it all started from. That's where these pyramids, the little pyramids of Meroe, which predate their cousins, the big ones over there. A lot of these pyramids were there first. There was hundreds of pyramids in Sudan and in that area right there of Nubia in Kush, right? A lot of time there's an argument of where Kush is. A lot of times people, that's Ethiopian. Kush is just always given sometimes to Ethiopia. But, Kush, the location of Kush is, they say Sudan, but we also got to understand that those lines that's drawn between Sudan, Ethiopia, and Eritrea are lines that were drawn from European constructs and Europeans. You know what I'm saying? So they designed those lines. You know what I mean? So at that period in time, Queen Amanikasheto, Queen Amanirenas, they would have been ruling all of that down there. You know what I mean? They'd have been ruling all of that. That'd have been them. You know what I mean? Up there in Egypt and all of that, up top, Memphis and all of that up there would have been up there. But down there would have been ruled. You know what I'm saying? Ethiopia, Eritrea, all of that down there. Somalia is Punt, which is the horn right over there. All of that whole area would have been ruled as Upper Egypt. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes the fight between the people don't understand that it's just borders that created, and it was borders that was actually created that separates the people. But there's a lot of similarities in the people. We see that the people have every phenotype, you know what I mean? Very dark skin, light skin, straight hair, curly hair, kinky hair, many different phenotypes. So sometimes you think that black people just have to have kinky hair. They don't. They can have straight as an arrow hair. They can have curly hair and different kinds of things, because I think that we're indigenous to this whole world and this whole earth, and we possess every phenotype. You feel me? So like I said, so there was Upper and Lower Egypt. So at those periods in time, at the top of the map would be Lower Egypt, and at the bottom would be Upper Egypt, because that all started with Narmer, which was Menes the First, when he started his conquest, you know what I'm saying, to rule. You know what I'm saying? And when he came in, bang, 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 and that's how all of that started. So now, and a lot of in those times, even when people ruled in Egypt, and even in Judea, a lot of people got wives from Kush, from Sudan, from Ethiopia. You know what I mean? These women were just very, very beautiful women and strong women, and they was like warriors. You know what I'm saying? It was some warriors. They were warrior queens. You know what I'm saying? So this were like Sheba and a lot of people, you know what I mean, like that, like Solomon's wife. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people had wives that were from Upper Egypt in ancient times. And, you know what I mean, we could understand why. Honestly, you know what I mean? When you see the conquest and when you hear about the stories cutting off the statue of the Roman head, Amanikasheto, and she put the statue under the temple so that everybody could be walking beneath, you know what I mean? So you could be walking on the head of the Romans and making signs like that in history. And they actually dug that up, the head of Caesar Augustus, the head of Caesar Augustus. They actually dug up the head of Caesar Augustus in Meroitic. They found it there. And all of these things are in the Egyptian Museum of Berlin and the Egyptian Museum in Munich. And the one in Munich. All right. So who united Upper and Lower Egypt? Menes the First. If you see the Narmer palette. All right. Let me see if I can screen share this shit real quick. Let me see if I can screen share this thing real quick. Hold up. The Narmer palette, though. When you get into the Narmer palette, you know what I'm saying? Menes, the legendary first king of unified Egypt, who, according to tradition, joined Upper and Lower Egypt in a single centralized monarchy and established the ancient Egypt's first dynasty. The first dynasty was created by Menes the First, right? He came through, ran down. So this is where it all started from. You feel me? So did the Nubians build pyramids? That's a good question, right? Yeah. The pyramids in Sudan were built over a period of hundreds of years by a civilization known as the Nubians. The Nubians were initially conquered by the Egyptians and for centuries lived under Egyptian administration. All right. So when the Greeks came over, they couldn't believe that the people in Nubia was as structured as they was. They built the jewelry and designed the jewelry that they did. They just looked at them like some military base that was some outskirt military base on the side of Egypt. You know what I'm saying? Because they didn't think that this was Egypt. That's how come even Queen Amenorhanes, whatever jewelry, and like Amanikasheto, like certain jewelries was being deemed as frauds or like Egyptian fakes. Because they didn't think that these people over here, like black people, could be doing all the things that they was doing. They didn't understand that these were two separate things and two separate people at one point. They was ruling, even though it all started from one thing and they ruled and everything. But at many times, as it was unified in the first dynasty, and many times throughout history, it was separated and it had kings, pharaohs that ruled in Egypt, and then it had the crown of Lower Egypt and the crown of Upper Egypt, and then someone came again to unify both crowns, and then that's how come you see the crown with the snake and it's got like the cone on the top of it. Yeah, that's the unification of both crowns, the unification of Upper and Lower Egypt. You know what I'm saying? So you know that Upper Egypt is Nubia. You feel me? So, but a lot of times when Egypt got attacked at its borders. I'm talking about in ancient Egypt days, right? So they got attacked at their borders a lot, right? So Rome was attacking them, and you know, even when they was being attacked by Rome really didn't, like, everybody that was attacking really didn't want to attack and go deep into the central parts of Africa. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, that's where it's different. You don't know the terrain. You don't know what the hell's waiting for you in there. You could just kind of, like, they was really attacking out the outskirts, really coming for where the pyramids at, all of that, coming running through all of that. That's what they was coming. So even when the Ptolemaic period, they was coming for all of that. You see what I'm saying? So now, every time Egypt's borders were attacked or raided, you know what I'm saying, by many people at the time, the sea peoples, there's all kinds of peoples running down around these times, right? Mad people running around. So trying to rule Egypt, you know what I'm saying? So at these times, every time, the people of Kush would always run down. They would come out to Lower Egypt, which is the upper part of the Africa, which is the outskirt where everybody's sailing in to come at the borders. They would come out there and get it rocking. And they would get it rocking. You know that it was called the land of the bow. They were very, very, like, deadly with the bow. Deadly with the bow. Most definitely, they were feared for the bow. So, you know, they didn't really want to run down really inside central parts too much. You know what I mean? So they was ruling over there, chilling still. They was over there ruling, chilling still too. You know what I mean? So when you get into the history of everything, because, like, I heard a guy that was talking, I forget who, but yeah, was it Debo? I think it was Debo. But he was talking about like the women shouldn't, like, they should sit down in the house and not do this, not do that. Like, I don't want that. I don't want a woman like that. Not me. I want a woman that's whoever she gonna be. She can be a fighter. She can be what the hell she want to be. You know what I'm saying? I don't care. I like that. I want her to have fire. I want her to fight. You know what I mean? Like, we can fight together. You know what I'm saying? Like, facts. I want her to have that fire. You know what I'm saying? Because our women have that fire. It's just that we suppress it, and it's just that we, you know what I mean? Our women sometimes meet men that just douse they damn fire. Keep it real. Keep it a band. They just got some men around them that just be dousing a fire. You know what I mean? Acting like they trying to help them and stuff like that, but they really not. Trying to bring them down. Really, really trying to bring them down. You know what I mean? Why did Kush, this is another good question though, why did Kush turn their attention away from Egypt? Right? When did Kush break free from Egypt? And why did Kush turn their attention away from Egypt? They didn't rely on their trade. What was the Kushite culture like? Those are all good questions, right? King Menes, 3200 to 3000 BC. Menes, ancient Egyptian, probably pronounced as Menij. Ancient Greek, right? It says, was the pharaoh of the early dynastic period of ancient Egypt, credited by classical tradition with having united Upper and Lower Egypt as the founder of the first dynasty was Menes. Pianki is considered the first African pharaoh to rule Egypt from 730 BC to 656 BC. Most definitely was good. But how did Kush fall? Kush began to fade as the power by the first or the second century AD. Sapped by the war with the Roman province of Egypt and the decline of its traditional industries, Christianity began to gain over the old Pharaonic religion, right? It gained over it. Christianity started to take over the Pharaonic period. right? And by the mid 6th century AD, the kingdom of Kush was dissolved. Christianity came pushing everywhere and took it out. Some say that Christianity sprang there too and started in Ethiopia as well. So they say that they created that too. I don't know. Gotta do the history on it. What race were the Kushites though? You know, its peoples were and are African in race and language. But since very early times, their culture has been strongly influenced by that of their northern neighbors. The northern part of Kush was under direct Egyptian control during the New Kingdom, which was 1580 to 1000 BCE. Who were the 5 black pharaohs? The kings of Kush, the 5 black pharaohs, the 5 kings of Kush. The pharaoh was Kashta, 760 to 747 BC. Kashta, the brother of Alara, who ruled Egypt in a time of turmoil and destruction. Shabaka, who was 712 to 698 BC. Taharka, 690 to 644 BCE. And Tamani is 664 to 657 BCE, the last pharaoh of the 25th dynasty. What was Kush's religion, though? The Kushite religion was similar to the Egyptian religion, borrowing most of their gods. Ammon, right, who was shown as a ram, was the primary god. But there were many others. Many regions had their own gods and goddesses, and they worshiped those, right? Gods and goddesses native to their Kushite include Amisemi, and it included a lion god as well. Apetamak is the lion god that it included. Is Kush Sudan, though? The legendary kingdom of Kush, with its capital in what is now northern Kush, helped define the cultural and political landscape of northeastern Africa for more than 1,000 years. Kush was a part of Nubia, which stretched from Upper Nile to the Red Sea. It stretched from the Upper Nile to the Red Sea. Who destroyed Kush, though? The subsequent history of Kush is one of gradual decay, ending with an inglorious extinction in 350 CE by the king Axum, right? Axum, which is in Ethiopia, right? Axum, who marched down from the Ethiopian highlands, destroyed Meroe, and sacked the decrepit towns along the river. So the king of Axum in 350 CE destroyed it. He was an Ethiopian king, and he went over there and destroyed it. Right? Are Nubians Kushites? The Greeks, however, did not call these people Nubians or Kushites as we do today. They called them Aethiopes, like the Ethiopians. They called them Aethiopes. Aithiopes. Aethiopes. Or Ethiopians, which in Greek means burnt-faced ones. That's what they say, but some say that is pseudo and say that it actually means something else. But, you know, in the history and the things that I've read, they say that Ethiopia mean burnt faces, land of the burnt faces, burnt face ones, things like that. But other people say that it means something else as well, the Aetops. They knew perfectly well that Nubians were black-skinned and are, as the Sudanese are, of the same regions today, right? So we also understand that as well. So what is Cush in the Bible? Cush was the oldest son of Ham and a grandson of Noah. He was the brother of Canaan, Mizraim, and Phut. Now, Cush is identified in the Bible with the kingdom of Cush or ancient Ethiopia. The Cushitic languages are named after Cush. What language did the Cushites speak? They were in Meroitic, right? So that's what they spoke, Meroitic. Is Kush older than Egypt? It's another good question, right? The Kushites were first based in Kerma and then Napata, both towns in what is now northern Sudan. Kerma was an advanced society, and an archaeological evidence shows that ceramics were being produced by 8000 BC, earlier than in Egypt. Okay, archaeological evidence shows that ceramics were being produced by 8000 BC, earlier than in Egypt. This dynasty, based at Napata, was known as the Ethiopian dynasty. Okay? It's known as the Ethiopian dynasty. So when we look at Egypt, we get caught up and we get stuck in a lot of things, right? Because we understand that right there just told you that Nubia predates that. See? So all they sell us is the story with Ben-Hur every Thanksgiving or whatever time that come on with the Moses, the whole story and all this stuff in Egypt. Nubia, Kush. They said that this is the Ethiopian dynasty. And I'm going to do a lot of work on that. Me being Ethiopian. This is the Ethiopian dynasty, right? So I'm going to be going to a lot of things like that. I'm going to be going to the king's list. I'm going to be going to the Judaic periods. I'm going to be going through a lot of that. I'm going to be going through Mesopotamia. You know what I'm saying? Going into all of that. You know what I'm saying? We're going to be getting into a lot of the history. I'm going to be going into Turkey when we're talking about a lot of things like that. The Turkish, why is it that they say that Noah's Ark landed on Turkey on Mount Ararat over there in the same place over there by the Caucasus Mountains? Why? Why? Of all the places on earth, that's where it's at? Why? Sometimes you got to ask yourself questions. Why? Out of all the places on earth, it landed on Mount Ararat, like they say in the Bible, right? It stops, and then they say that it stops on Mount Ararat, which is over there in Turkey. So Noah's Ark is on the mountain in Turkey. Let history tell it. See what I'm saying? So like I said, though, so the Ethiopian dynasty, I will be going to do some history on the Ethiopian dynasty. Okay. Dedun or Dedwin was a Nubian god worshipped during the ancient times in ancient Egypt and Sudan, and attested as early as 2400 BC. The wealth and that the trade in the incense delivered to Nubia led to his being identified by them as a god of prosperity and of wealth, in particular, Dedun or Dedwen, Dedwen or Dedwen. Does Ethiopia have pyramids though? Did you know that Sudan, Ethiopia, and Zimbabwe have more pyramids, 225 pyramids in Sudan alone, than all of Egypt? There's 225 pyramids in Sudan alone. How old are the pyramids in Sudan? The pyramids here, which are almost 5,000 years old, are spread across 3 sites and are different from their more famous Egyptian counterparts on account of smaller bases and steep sloping sides. Where is Kush today? Kush today, Meroitic, ancient city of Kush, the ruins of which is located on the east bank of the Nile, about 4 miles, 6.4 kilometers north, right? And in the present day Sudan, Meroe is also the name of the area surrounding the city. What did PA do? PA, formerly known as Pianki, right? The same one that I told you as Pianki, who's one of the 5 black pharaohs, African pharaohs, one of the kings of Kush, right? PA, or formerly known as Pianki, because they called him Pianki, but then they updated the name in the translation and called him PA, right? Flourished in the 8th century BCE. Kings of Kush, or Kush, in the Sudan. From about 750 to 719 BCE, he invaded Egypt from the south and ended the petty kingdoms of the 23rd dynasties. So we know it was a lot of things going on. We seen people that were priests started to excel themselves to the throne. Things like that were happening. So they were going away from sometimes traditions. Other people were trying to assume the throne. Everybody was trying to assume the throne. We even seen people like priests and different things like that trying to assume the throne as well. You know what I mean? You already know how it go. Trying to kill each other. Everybody want the power. You know what it is. It's a global power. Egypt is a global power. It's like American back then. It's global power. Everybody knows what's going on. Don't make them come sail over here. It's going down. And it was the same type of deal. So I don't want people to think of them like some pushovers, because they wasn't. Ketu. What was significant about Queen Ketu? She was a queen of the kingdom of Kush when let me see. She is said to have ruled with full power in Meroitic Empire. She is also said to have ruled without a king. It is also stated as queen, she played a significant role in the Meroitic period in the region and the religion. So that means that she basically helped form the religion in Meroe. The Meroitic religion she helped create it at that time. So when I go into that Kandake, I will be going into that because I'll be going to all of the Kandakes, all of the Kandakes, actually Kandake, not E. I'll be going into the Kandakes. Where is, let me see. Are Sudanese Nubians? Nubians are an ethno-linguistic group of people who are indigenous to the region, which is now present-day northern Sudan and southern Egypt. They originate from the early inhabitants of the central Nile Valley, believed to be the earliest cradles of civilization, which leads a lot of people to say Ethiopia is Eden. The Garden of Eden, if there is a place that is that place would be in Ethiopia. Because why would it be anywhere else? Why? Why would it be? Tell me that. Straight up. If this the earliest civilization of where it spread, right? And the Nile River starts in Ethiopia at the Blue Nile, then, hey, I guess we got to always follow the river to where it starts, right? What we still in down river for? We going up river. What are we doing? You know we going up river. You feel me? So you know the White Nile. Khartoum is located in the confluence of the White Nile flowing north from Lake Victoria and the Blue Nile flowing west from Lake Tana in Ethiopia. The location where the two Niles meet is known as Al Magran, which is the confluence. In English, it means the confluence. Yeah, the Ascamite invasion. What happened to Meroe? The Ascamite invasion, coupled with overuse of the land leading to the desertification, led to the rapid decline of Meroe. The iron industry, requiring enormous amounts of wood, led to the deforestation of the surrounding lands, while cattle grazing and agriculture destroyed fields and depleted the soil. Yeah, because you know that soil was so rich, the soot. Like, this is when the Nile flooded every year. Like, this is what sprung the whole region came to life. the soil was so rich, and it was all started from it, backed up, all of that in Ethiopia. And when it now flowed from exactly where it comes from, it don't just flow from the middle. It starts right there in Ethiopia, and it just pushed all that good, rich soil, got pushed, and it was just sprouting vegetations and all types of stuff like that. So this is why, it helped that early civilization to flourish as well as they were able to flourish. So, yeah, man, it's a lot of great stuff. And we got to most definitely be doing our history. Most definitely got to be doing our history. Salute to anybody that's doing their history out here. You feel me? You feel me? Hey, Claire. I love you, Claire. Yeah, I'm going to contact you too, Claire, because I'm going to be doing some work on One Community, United Kingdom. So we're going to put our minds together. So, yeah, man, this is what it's about. Most definitely, I can't wait to get into Queen Amanikasheto, which is my favorite Kandake. So I kind of was saving her for last because she's my favorite one. So I'm going to get into all the Kandakes. Make sure y'all doing your history as well, too. You know how we do it here on One Community. It's always one love, one voice, one community. That's all it's about. That's all it's going to be about, man. Salute to everybody. Appreciate all y'all love. You know how we get it.
Video is sponsored by our first ever sponsor, Don't Hide the Plug. Don't Hide the Plug is an apparel company co-founded by two brothers from Flatbush, Tafari and Rossi Harper. Now these two black brothers have created an amazing, inspiring, high-quality brand. Now you see on Infominds, a lot of our content is New York based. We love New York, so it's only fitting that we partner up with a New York based brand, Don't Hide the Plug. Now they got some fire fitted hats, hoodies, t-shirts, and I'm feeling the old New York design with the bridge logo. They got the clout joints, the dad hats, and you can also have them delivered to you in the resealable merch by the pound bags too. Now mind you, they might be New York based, but their apparel is for everyone, whether you're from New York, Miami, Texas, Chicago. It's a grassroots movement. Get in tune. And they offer free shipping on all domestic orders of $75 or more. But if you enter the exclusive Infominds promo code, you'll get an additional 10% off at checkout. You already know I ordered my package. My package is on its way. So I'll be wearing and showcasing the Don't Hide the Plug apparel in my next live. Go out and support these brothers. Check out their website. I put the link in the description box. Don't Hide the